Hello, welcome to Switched On. Paul speaking, and we're going to be having a look at a recent game that got released on the Nintendo Switch today, and that is Wonder Boy Asha in Monster World. I'm a big fan of the Wonder Boy games, but I'm wondering why it's a Wonder Boy and the main protagonist is a girl. I'm confused. But anyway, you play as Asha here in this game. This is actually a remake of Wonder Boy 4, or Monster World 4, that came out on the Sega Master System, I think, back in 1994. So it's basically a remake of the gameplay with some bells and whistles added on. We'll talk about those as we go through. Just to clarify a couple of things, the boxed version of the game, which is published by Inning Games, actually comes with a copy of Monster World 4, but that's only available with the boxed version. This digital version I've got comes from Studio Art Think, and it doesn't include Monster World 4, and there's no way of getting it unless you get the boxed copy. This will set you back $35 and £31.29, I think, rather randomly, in the UK. So let's get into some gameplay and have a look at this one and show you what it's all about. So what we're going to do is show you the start of the game, a little bit of gameplay, and talk about what I think of some of the things in this one, and then we'll spin on to sort of about an hour and a half in, and show you a little bit more of the later gameplay. So as you can see, really nice graphical style, this sort of hand-drawn animated style. To be honest, I'm not a massive fan of this particular art style. I much preferred the other Wonder Boy games that came out, the Dragon's Trap, and what's the other one? There's another Monster Boy or Wonder Boy game that came out as well. That I much preferred. I mean, I think it's the Dragon's Trap one. It's either of the two. I mean, both are great looking games, but they've got some of the best graphics, I think, on any Nintendo Switch game. But this one, whilst it's quite nice looking, I don't think quite reaches those heights. There is some performance issues that I found as well, and oddly, it seems to affect what TV I'm on, which is a bit odd. I've never had that with a Switch game before, but when I play this on my bigger telly, I can really notice some quite jagged frame rates on the scrolling. And on the slightly smaller TV here that I'm recording on, it doesn't seem to happen quite so much, which is a bit odd. You might be able to detect a little bit. I mean, I know YouTube downgrades the quality and frame rate a little bit, but just keep your eye out. There's a little bit of jagged sort of scrolling left to right as you run around. So anyway, as you can see, the character models are quite nice. Once you zoomed in, the worlds are quite nice. There's a lot of little flourishes added that weren't in the original game. I never played the original Monster World 4, but I did go back and look at quite a lot of footage on YouTube, and it's weird because it's very faithful to that original game. The layout is very, very similar, but obviously the graphics on this version are a lot better. That's really the selling point in this one. So we get this silly little animation. Again, that was in the original, but it's really annoying because you can't skip it. And I don't think there's any need for it, apart from it keeping that sort of faithfulness to the original version. But, you know, you've got a wasted sort of... It's only a second, but it just... You know, when you're opening these chests, it's just annoying that Asha sticks her backside in the air and wiggles right in your face. So we're collecting some of the starting bits here. We've got some life crystals up in the top left-hand corner there. When you collect 10, we've got 5 of those at the moment. When you collect 10, you get an extra heart added to your life. You see that in the top left-hand corner. You've got a basic sword, activated by the Y button. And you can also activate a shield by holding down the left bumper. Let's get out of the way there so you can see it a bit better. Also by pulling down on the D-pad. If we go into our inventory, you can buy new items, which is quite common in the Wonder Boy and Monster World games. So you can buy items here. They've got an elixir, which obviously refills your life. We've got this courage crystal, which I think it lets you get into the first level. It really kind of disappears after a while. We've got a basic sword and a basic shield. You can buy new shields and swords. Shields have different sort of protection, so you can get ones that protect against fire and water and magic and all sorts of stuff. And then these bracelets you can buy as well. This one at the moment gives me the 3 hearts, but you can buy upgraded bracelets. In my save game, I've got one that gives me, I think, 5 or 6 hearts. You can buy them. So you have to chat to all these people as you go off to the Tower of Silence. The story of this game is that Asha hears a calling. She hears the spirits calling and decides to wander off and find out what's going on. She's got a feeling that something bad's going down, and that is enough story to drive this game. I don't think it's a particularly long game. I think what the gods at Wikipedia say it's sort of 5 or 6 hours max, I think. So I'm a couple of hours into it myself. So it's just not one of my particular favourite versions of a game. It's very, very basic. That gameplay is very faithful to the original version, but you're going back to sort of 1994, and there's nothing particularly that grabs me. Just personally, I know it's reviewing quite well at the moment, and a lot of people like it, and if you've played the original, you're going to have that nostalgia pang. But just for me personally, I just found it a very basic side-scrolling platformer without much of a USP. You do collect this little creature that I'll show you in a little while when I skip the gameplay on a bit. You collect a Pepelogoo, which is okay. Kind of a little creature that walks alongside you, can do various little things to solve sort of simple sort of environmental puzzles. But that's about it really. It's got nothing really particularly innovative about it or any sort of gameplay that really captured me, unfortunately. It's a nice enough game, but I think for the price you've really got to be into your 2D platformers, or as I say, have that nostalgia pang. So we're taking out some basic enemies here and collecting these coins. The coins are a little bit of bone of contention with me as well. It's like some of the later enemies, I mean, these are just giving out 2 coins. Some of the later enemies give out sort of 10, 15 coins, whatever, and they're just scattered all over the place, and you have to like run around and collect them. There is an easy mode, which one of the things in easy mode is that it also collects the coins for you, which would probably be a little bit less frustrating. But to me, with the gameplay and the performance issues that I experienced, and just some kind of minor annoyances, but they all just started stacking up in my experience of the game, and kind of left me feeling a little bit flat with it, to be honest. Not to say that you won't like it. As I say, I'm a little bit late getting this review out. I had some problems with my recording equipment, so I've had to get that sorted. But I know some reviews for this came out at the start of the week, and I think generally I don't tend to watch a lot of reviews of other games that I'm reviewing, just because it can tend to skew you a little bit. But from what I have seen, I think pretty much everyone's reviewed it pretty well. All the big hitters have given it reasonably decent scores, so I think it's just one that doesn't quite appeal to me, and that's fine, that happens. It's just my opinion. But as you can see here, especially in these early levels, there's nothing particularly exciting going on. You've got some static enemies. You whack them and you get coins, and you keep running to the right. That's here we go. Here we get some of the enemies now that scatter these coins around. There are some quite tricky bosses in the game as well. You just have to really watch their attack patterns. There we go. Now, I believe one of the things that were added into this sort of, it's not a remake or a remaster as such, it's just an updating, but one of the things that was added was the really helpful ability to save anywhere. I think we've got the ability to do that now. Yeah, so you can save anywhere, which is really useful. And if you get this game, I would recommend certainly taking advantage of that. Some of the later levels, you have to kind of do blind jumps, and it can be quite annoying, or you just enter a room and without any warning you're at a boss, and if you haven't got any hearts or haven't got enough hearts, then you're going to struggle. Trying to do that downwards attack. I can't get up there. At the start of the game, you've just got a single jump, and then when you get the Pepelogoo, it gives you the ability to do a double jump. I'm going to skip ahead onto my save, and I'll show you some of that. But I just wanted to show you this kind of the start of the game here, and talk a little bit about, as I say, the performance and just the fact that it's not quite grabbed me as I hoped. But I'll show you some later footage. It's a little bit more, got a little bit more going on. We can talk about the Pepelogoo as well. So let's just spin on to that. So here we are. This is about, as I say, about an hour and a half in, round about that, hour and a half, something like that. I've got the Pepelogoo now, which is this little blue thing flying around. If you hold down the right bumper, you can whistle and call it to you to carry. Whilst you're carrying it, you can float. And if you hold down the jump button, I don't think you need to hold down the jump button actually. As long as you're holding the Pepelogoo, you'll float. And as I say, you can do a double jump, but it does make you let go of the little creature. And you can also throw him as well. Him or her or they, however he wants to be identified. And so that helps you with little puzzles. And also one last thing, he's fireproof as well. So if you've got like, you get to levels where you'll have like fireballs dropping on your head, just hold them above your head, and you'll be protected. So, like I said earlier, this is one of the things I spent a little while at this juncture here. Now I was trying to double jump, get up to there because it looks like you can get up there. There's a platform up there, but you can't come from this way. So I was searching all around here, and I was like, "Where on earth do I go?" I couldn't figure it out. And in the end, you literally just have to, I just took a literal leap of faith and just had to jump off the edge. And there's a platform, which is like really annoying. Again, it's like that old school game design. There's no sort of indication or markers, and you obviously can't move the camera to have a peek of what's around. Oh, splat. Well, this ogre's got his club on the ground as well. You can take damage if you run into it. So again here, I mean, you know, once you do it once, you kind of get used to the fact that you can just drop off the edge. You don't even need the Pepelogoo. You don't take any full damage. And beat some of these ogres. I've got something called a magical hit, which if you hold down your left bumper and hit the enemy, it does a stronger hit, and it builds up. Every time you hit an enemy, a little gauge fills up in the bottom left hand corner there to get your magical hit. Boy, that's close. Best to play it safe with these ones. Just get in, get your one hit, and avoid the club. It takes 4 hits to kill him. There's these little blocked off doors around the world. They take a bomb, and conveniently enough, there's a chest next to the door that has in it a bomb. Not always that easy. Sometimes you'll find yourself backtracking quite a bit. You come across a door like this and you'll have to backtrack and try and find the chest that's got the bomb in that lets you bypass the area. It's more more aggravating than in any sort of challenge at all. Music is another slight annoyance. Just all these little annoyances that were adding up for me. Music's very repetitive. They made kind of a big deal about the music being composed by the original Japanese composer of the music from the original game. And again, you know, if you've got some sort of nostalgia to that original game, that may be a good thing for you. But for me, very sort of repetitive and very sort of plinky plonky. It just again didn't grab me at all. So it was just another little negative in that sort of cons column. So this is where you can use the Pepelogoo to block off that lava flow and use them to reach different platforms. There's all sorts of like fire-based puzzles. There's a random bomb. If you come across any of these chests with bombs in, you can pretty much be guaranteed that you're going to have a blocked door at some part in the level. Make our way back here. I suppose for the time, this kind of 2D or 2.5D was quite innovative, where you're moving in and out of the backgrounds. You can get a little bit lost. There's no sort of there's no sort of map or anything like that, so you can get a little bit lost. And there we go. Took a hit, so I wasn't concentrating. Now, if you've got an elixir on you, your Pepelogoo will just use it on you, which means that you don't get a game over, so you can carry on. I mean, I could have used that elixir at any time, but if you forget to use it and you take a hit like I did there, the Pepelogoo will use it and rescue you. So that's quite handy. But there you go. That's kind of where we are with Wonder Boy Asha in Monster World. I think the other Monster World games are slightly better, to be honest, or certainly are better, both in terms of visuals and gameplay. So perhaps have a look at those as well. I mean, this is by no means a bad game. It just isn't one that particularly grabbed me. So don't let my opinion put you off at all. So there's plenty of people that have enjoyed it, but just not for me, this one. So that's my thoughts on Asha in Monster World. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you're new. Drop me a comment below if you played any of the other Wonder Boy games. Personally, my favourite game was Wonder Boy 2, I think it was, on the Master System. I think it was Wonder Boy 2. You can actually get it on the Nintendo Switch Arcade. Pretty sure it's on now. Refill some hearts from these random arcade or little vending machines. But as I say, there you go. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you do enjoy this one if you pick it up. And I will speak to you all soon. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.